Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for the Bud Shootout. Here's the way they'll line up, the way they drew for starting positions Thursday morning. Defending champion of this race, Rusty Wallace, drew the pole position. Kenny Irwin, who won the pole at Atlanta in November, outside pole. Row number 2, Rick Mass scored at Rockingham, and Ken Schrader, two-time winner of the shootout. 1990 Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope makes his first appearance here since '91. In this race, Ricky Craven won a pole in his comeback at New Hampshire last fall. Jeremy Mayfield, Texas pole winner. Second start in this race. Jeff Gordon had 7 poles last year. He's won the shootout twice. Row 5, Bobby Labonte looking for his first top 10 finish in this sprint. And Bobby Hamilton earns his first start in the shootout. Row number 6, Ward Burton had 2 poles last year. It's his 5th start in this race. And Ernie Irvin, also a 2-time pole winner, in his 7th Bud Shootout. Mark Martin makes his 12th start in this race. He had 3 poles last season. And Dale Jarrett came from 17th to win it here in 1996. They're both in Fords. Finally, Mike Skinner, whose victory in the qualifying race just minutes ago gained him the final spot, the last transfer spot into his 2nd shootout. They're on the pace lap here at Daytona. CBS Sports coverage of the Bud Shootout at Daytona continues after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We're cinched up and ready to go racing, and so are those 15 drivers you see entering turn 3 with 1 pace lap to go. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, and the Bud 1 Airship, proud to provide these spectacular shots of the 21st annual Bud Shootout.
Mike, this is a 2.5-mile racetrack. 31 degrees in the banking as they come off of turn 4, and they'll go into 18 degrees of banking through the tri-oval here. When they get to the start-finish line, it's 18 degrees there, and then on the backstretch, only 6 degrees of banking. And looking at the field for today, there are 7 Fords in the field, 4 Pontiacs, and 4 Chevrolets.
We'll also have a number of our CBS race cams in use here today. We'll have 5 cars in the 15-car field. Race cam mounted. You're looking out the back of Rick Mass. Budweiser Ford out of the Cale Yarborough Motorsports Complex. Carrying our Bud cam. Jeff Gordon, Winston Cup champion, starting from 8th position. Number 24. New look for Ward Burton's car this year. That's our Siemens in-car camera in the Bill Davis Racing Pontiac for Ward. Ernie Irvin also has a new paint scheme this year, inside and out of his Pontiac. He will start in 12th position. And coming from the back row, that's Dale Jarrett. He's starting in 14th position in his Robert Yates Racing Ford. So 15 cars for 25 laps for $500,000 with a mandatory pit stop under the green flag between laps 10 and 12. Let's go to pit road. Dick Berggren.
It's a big difference between a qualifying setup and a race setup, and most of the teams have chosen to go with something that they can race with, even though a qualifying setup is a bit faster. And that faster qualifying setup means it's much, much harder to hang on to the car. Rick Mass, starting on the pole, has gone with something somewhere between the two, all the way at the back of the pack. Dale Jarrett's got a race setup on it. We'll see which one of those works best. Let's go to Ralph.
I spoke to crew chief Ray Evernham earlier this morning, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon. He says the most stressful thing he's ever done is get a car that he knows is good enough to qualify on the pole and to spend 2 days with it. That's out of the way. They won the pole yesterday. Today, he said, I'm ready to go racing. This car with this setup is one that they're ready to race with.
One of the unique aspects of this race is there are no points to count. The Pointer Sisters are not in this field. This is a go for it, take the money to the bank kind of race.
Yeah, and it really is the first time these guys have been in competition against each other since last November. And so there's some nerves, there's a little edgy here, and everybody's got to kind of feel each other out. And you don't have a lot of time to do that. So you got to pick up the pace to immediately get it done in a hurry, right, Ned?
Yes, if they see an opening, they got to go for it. You take chances in this race that you would not take next week in the Daytona 500.
Momentum is hard to build at full speed. Can a driver starting in back time the start and gain a little momentum and come to the front.
Oh, by all means. It's like wake turbulence. When all those cars are in front of you, they make a huge wake in the air. And these cars are so aerodynamically sensitive today that, man, that little bit of disturbance in the air, and it can really give you a big suck to the front.
And we've seen Dale Earnhardt here in the past. He's not in the race today for one of the first few times, but we've seen him go from last on the first lap to first. So, you know, it can be done if you get the right brake.
All right, let's get down to it, Ned. The Pontiac Grand Prix safety car makes a left turn to pit road. And the 21st annual Bud Shootout coming up through the gears, 15 cars strong for $500,000. Green flag. Clean start as they roll off into turn one. Now that Ford number 98 of Rick Mast, that's a Thunderbird.
Car number 12, making it 3 wide coming off of turn 2, picked up a draft and trying to head to the front.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that think that Thunderbird might be a little bit slicker in the wind, and so that's why some of them continue to run that car.
3 wide in the middle of the east banking, turns 3 and 4, and that center car gets squeezed like a hot dog out of the bun to the back.
But there's no substitute. We talk about aero and springs and all that. There's no substitute for horsepower here. That makes a big, big difference.
And that car that just took the lead, the 28 of Kenny Irwin, has some of the horsepower. Robert Yates engines among the best.
Yeah, they are. And I hear the big numbers in those engines to be as restricted as they are.
So Irwin is the leader. Right behind him, Kenny Schrader, same car as last year, but the car is blue this season, or rather for just this Bud Shootout. On the inside lane, number 98 is Rick Matt, number 12, Jeremy Mayfield.
Matt's got a good run off of turn 2 and just shot right back up the side of her.
Yeah, now, folks, this might look like they're having fun. You might think this is what racing's all about. I'm telling you right now, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat holding on for all you got. Looks like the world's fastest pace lap as they come off turn number 4. Fast at the point, and here's Mayfield on the bottom. He's drawn even with Kenny Irwin for second. Well, he's got a good helper there, Bobby Labonte right there with him, and that's a good push, but they're doing some moving back there behind him.
Boy, Gordon, look at him making it 3 wide going into the turn.
That's what Ned was talking about, Mike. You've got to, when there's an opening, you got to take it, even though it might be with left wheels on the apron. You got to do it.
In the Daytona 500, Jeff Gordon would not have made that move.
Oh, no. Here he goes again to the inside of Bobby Labonte, 3 wide, middle of the backstretch, and he moves up toward Mayfield.
Now they're 4 wide right there.
Oh, gosh, they are.
That usually doesn't work very good.
Look at that 31 car. Mike Skinner has come from last on the grid right up into the thick of the lead battle.
Well, it's easy to explain for him. His heart rate is back down where it should be because he's had a little practice. These other guys just got started.
3 by 3, mid-pack coming down through the tri-oval. Squeeze play on Bobby Labonte. He's right in the middle of those 2 conga lines either side.
Remember I was talking about worst airplane ride you've been on? That's the 3 seats right there, and you're the middle.
You're the middle seat.
And the guy at the side beating you to death.
And Mark Martin's trying to work with him, and that number 6 car now to the inside goes Martin. Rusty Wallace is his drafting partner. Riding with Ernie Irvin. Right behind Jeff Gordon. Ernie's up next to Skinner.
Yes, says, which one of these cars do I need to follow? Gordon probably is picked.
Well, those are the 2 best cars in the field, I do believe, the 24 and the 31, because they have made some big moves right here, and they're continuing to.
Get a look at Ernie Irvin's in-car telemetry from Circuit City, showing just about 6,600 RPM, 186 miles an hour, and it doesn't show the paint that was just traded between Skinner and Gordon.
I don't think that battle's over with either.
No.
Folks, that's at 190 miles an hour that they're banging into each other. Trust me, they're not doing that on purpose. Those cars are just sucking into each other.